As a parent, you've likely spent countless hours researching, planning, and implementing diet changes and detoxes for your child or your family, knowing that our kids today are exposed to a greater toxic load than ever before, especially because we live in Houston. And all these chemicals and toxins that kids are exposed to early and often in life have to play a role in your child's chronic health challenges like autism and ADHD and allergies and epilepsy, and the list goes on and on. And you've probably already eliminated dozens, if not hundreds of foods. You've carefully planned meals and you've invested expensive supplement protocols to try and heal the gut and to get ahead. But despite your tireless efforts, your child is still struggling with gut issues or immune challenges and behavioral problems. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many dedicated parents find themselves stuck within this frustrating cycle, watching their child battle chronic health issues despite their best efforts and all sorts of restrictive diets. But what if there's a crucial factor that's been overlooked? Today, we're going to explore why diet changes and detoxes often fall short and introduce you to a groundbreaking approach that could be the missing piece within your child's healing journey. This video is for parents who have exhausted dietary interventions and natural remedies to help their children overcome chronic health issues, but are still searching for answers and lasting solutions. We're going to discuss why diet changes and detoxes often fail to fully resolve chronic pediatric health challenges. And we're going to introduce the concept of the perfect storm and explain how addressing an overstressed and dysfunctional nervous system first may be the missing link to finally getting the results that you've been working so hard for. 10 plus years ago, the majority of families and parents that I've talked to, and then now in practice, the new patients that are coming into the office had already been through rounds and rounds of medications like antibiotics and stimulants and steroids and so forth. But back then, there were very few families that had gone too far down the road of diet changes and detoxes and supplements and natural remedies. It sounds pretty crazy to say today that when the vast majority of us are not just well aware of all sorts of diets like gluten-free and casein-free and paleo and keto and carnivore and so forth, but if you've gone all in on natural health, you may be cold plunging and eating 1,000 grams of protein a day and doing your red light and infrared saunas or your fulvic acid foot baths and Shilajit and all of these different detoxes and pieces. Now today, the good news is that less than 20% of our patients come in already on meds, and massive and incredibly positive shifts from just 5-10 years ago. But at the same time, nearly 80% of our new patients have already implemented these diet changes and detoxes and massive supplement protocols and stem cells, but they still struggle and they still have chronic health issues. So what gives? What is the real root cause and the missing link if healing the gut and going full gluten, casein, and chemical free doesn't do the job? Keep watching because we've got the answers for you. The reality is that high stress pregnancies and birth trauma shows up before toxins and chemicals are thrown into the mix. So to understand why diet changes and detoxes often fall short, we really need to examine the perfect storm concept. And this refers to a series of events that, when combined, create the ideal conditions for chronic illnesses in children. First, high-stress pregnancies can have a profound impact on a child's developing nervous system. Maternal stress hormones like cortisol can cross the placenta and alter the delicate balance of the fetus's developing brain and nervous system. Additionally, the umbilical cord acts essentially as a power cord, connecting mom's brain and nervous system to baby's developing brain and nervous system. So if there's a lot of stress and anxiety throughout pregnancy, that can begin to pre-wire our children's nervous system to be more stuck within a fight or flight stress mode as well. Next, birth trauma and interventions like C-sections and forceps and vacuums can cause physical stress and strain to a newborn's neck and brainstem area. In a normal natural vaginal delivery, there's anywhere from 60 to 90 pounds of pressure. And when we add interventions or we add inductions and so forth, this exponentially increases. So what's really interesting and impactful about this brainstem upper neck area is that it houses and protects the vagus nerve, which is crucial for proper nervous system functions, specifically our parasympathetic nervous system and the rest and digest side of it. So the vagus and our parasympathetic side of our nervous system is quite literally the rest, regulate, digest, and detox side of our nervous system. And so when it's not functioning properly, even with a perfect diet and all sorts of detox supplements, the results will be very limited. The reality of the situation is that subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and nervous system imbalances shut down our gut and our immune system. And when the developing nervous system is thrown off track by all of these perfect storm stressors that show up way too early and way too often, it leads to something called subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and dysautonomia. Simply put, this means that our nervous system is stuck in stress mode. And once it gets stuck there, one of the first things it does is shut down gut motility, or the movement, as well as elimination, and weakens and suppresses the immune system and leaves the body in a pro-inflammatory state. Once stuck there, even the best diet changes and detox protocols have a hard time breaking through and getting results. So what's the solution? This is where neurologically focused chiropractic care comes in. So at Haven Family Chiropractic, we use state-of-the-art technology called the Insight scans to accurately detect and measure nervous system dysfunction, to find out if your child's nervous system is stuck in sympathetic fight or flight stress mode. Because if it is, then that means we've finally been able to pinpoint and find out why your child has not responded to all of those diet changes, to the detoxes and natural remedies that perhaps other kids have. Parents, I want to make this real for you. Here are real life examples of a test that we do within the office. These are two different ones. There's a third that we use as well. On this left-hand side is what's called heart rate variability. And so what it's really measuring is the stress load, sympathetic versus parasympathetic. I'm going to try to draw as best as I possibly can on here, but this left-hand side of this big old graph on the left is our sympathetic fight or flight gas pedal mode. And on this right-hand side is that relaxation side. And as you can see on this testing, that big old white dot is where this child plots, stuck off deep into the sympathetic side of the nervous system. Now, like we talked about, when the nervous system is stuck within this fight or flight side of things, it cannot fully rest, digest, recuperate, and recover to the best of its abilities. Now, when we bring it more to the physical, when we're talking about gross motor and fine motor developmental delays, or even things like ADHD and those types of struggles, this view on the right hand side is what's called the surface EMG. Basically, it's measuring the energy in the muscles of our body. So it's quantifying areas of high stress and high tone and tension within the nervous system, giving us a deeper clue as to how hard the brain and the nervous system is having to work just to withstand gravity, let alone digest our food and focus in on school or manage and relate to our emotions. This is just a sneak peek into what it is that we do when we go through this process for your child, for your family, to understand, hey, can we help? Are they subluxated? If so, how deeply is the nervous system stuck within this state of fight or flight stress mode? Parents, if you feel like you've truly tried it all and nothing is fully worked just yet, then it's almost certainly a case of subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and dysautonomia. No one else in healthcare tests for nervous system dysfunction and dysregulation like this. So these insight scans, or the testing we do in the office, could be the missing link that you've been searching for all along. Once we have this test and the neurometrics and the scores that come with them, we can then create a customized and personalized care plan made specifically for your child. And if this video hits home for you, mom and dad, click the link within our bio to schedule that consult and the Insight Scan appointment with us at Haven Family Chiropractic right away. Your child's journey to better health could be just one adjustment away.